What's going on, everyone? I'm Tier 1 Collections. Today in this video, I'm going to talk about the top 10 grading plays right now to buy raw singles and then grade them for a profit.
I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant. Need a triple-double. Told him check the stats.
Real quick, everyone, I'm doing a giveaway for a PSA 10 EV ETB promo from Prismatic Evolutions. All you have to do is join the Discord. Hopefully you like the video and drop a comment. Join via the link in the description, and I'll be running that a week from today on September 20th. All you have to do is interact with the poll in Discord, and you will be entered to win. Alright guys, number 10 on this list, we got a 2-for-1 special. We have the Pikachu Secret Rare from Crown Zenith, the base set, and then in the Galarian Gallery we also have this Pikachu. Both of these cards, if you take a look at the market price, has increased significantly over the past 2 to 3 months. We'll take a look here too. I was buying this card back when it was 15 bucks in like late June. But now it is really getting up there. It's almost 40 bucks near mint, and then this one is, I think I looked at this yesterday, it was 20. Okay, yeah, it is about 20. But then if we look at the PSA 10 price, the Secret Rare has jumped up a good amount. This was about $100 for the longest time. It is now $250, $200, or $220, $260, $270. I think it's going to get up to about $300 if we let the market keep doing its thing. Here, this is another one. This one's, again, a little bit cheaper. This one I would say was probably a better play overall, though the Secret Rare is probably easier to grade. But this thing is getting up over close to 300 in a lot of cases. So that's the number 10 slot. Post-production T1C here. The one thing I wanted to mention that I forgot in the video was Crown Zenith is now going out of print. It's past the 2-year life cycle on its release date, so there'll be no more packs being made of Crown Zenith. There might be some that pop up in collection boxes or whatever that have already been produced, but there'll be no new ones being on the printers. So keep in mind that set might start going up and increasing. Alright, number 9 on this list is Gardevoir from Paldean Fates. Everybody's after the Bubble Mew. Paldean Fates is just really hard to come by because of that Mew. With that, a very popular Pokemon in Gardevoir is also going to go up. Right now, this card has went from about 80 bucks, 75 to 80 bucks, to about 140, almost doubled in price in about a month. It's pretty insane. This was always the least sought after SIR between Mew, Charizard, and Gardevoir, but I think it's a very, very nice card. I love this one. I actually just got one back of this. It's very, very solid play. If we look at it, so you get it for about 135, 140. It's about 400 in a 10. Let's do the calculation for that. So if we sell it for, we'll say 425 because I think it's going to keep going up. You sell it for 85. You get it for we'll say you get it for 145 to include some tax, and then you grade it for, we'll say value plus, so you pay 45 for it. So you'd make about 170, 150 to 100 to 200 bucks on this Gardevoir play. So it's a pretty solid play. They're pretty common. You see them pretty much every shop you go to, and it's pretty easy to see what's going on with them. So that's the number 9 slot. Number 8 on this list, I love Psyduck. This is a huge play right now just because the PSA 10 price has more than doubled, and the raw cost has barely adjusted. This card has been between 15 and 30 bucks its entire existence. You can kind of find it for anywhere in between there. I've seen shops have it at 30. I've seen shops have it for 10. I picked one of these up recently for 15 bucks, but the main draw for this card is the PSA 10 price. We had one sell yesterday for 300, another one for 290, Japanese. Wow, this guy, oh, this is July. So you can see, actually, that gives us a good glimpse of what it was. I had been selling these. I sold one of these in early August for about this price, 125. I think it was 135 is what I sold it for. And it stayed around there for a long time. It never really reached the premium of like the starters from the illustration rares or even the Pikachu. But you can see here it's pretty consistently going up. Everything's reaching about 300 here for the Psyduck. We can see here one on bid. Let's see if we can find one on bid. Most of the stuff that's at buy now, yeah, we have one on bid that's already at 217 that ends in 2 days. So that is the number 8 slot, Psyduck from 150. The number 7 slot is this Greninja EX promo. We'll go ahead and say that the big Greninja from Twilight Masquerade could also be lumped into this. Usually the bigger cards are pretty solid anyways. But this one I think is going up. I think that the collection boxes on this was a pretty hard card to grade. At least the ones that I've seen in the wild. So it's not always a guarantee that it's going to be a solid grading play. Obviously, you need to find one that's in good condition. But This card has steadily went up. It was down at like 15 to 20 bucks. It has always been a popular promo. There is a lot out there, but again, it's pretty low pop in a 10 considering that it's promo. And the sale price in 10s is pretty solid. It's going for pretty much over 400 every day of the week. We had even up to 450. This was a different country. Yeah, we have 385, 400. And for a $60 raw card, it's pretty solid come up. And like I said, there's a ton of them out there because it is promos. So take a look at them when you see them out in the wild. So that's the number 7 slot. Number 6 on this list is Gengar from Lost Origin in the Trainer Gallery. This card you could find for a long time for 10 bucks. We can see it's pretty much shot up in the last 2 to 3 months from about 12 bucks to 30, and it's sitting around 30 to 40 right now. And then if we look at the PSA 10 price, holy, like it's kind of all over the place. The market hasn't really settled for it, but this is a pretty cheap card. We're talking over 10x. I mean, one sold yesterday on PSA Vault at buy now for 500. We can take a look at what is listed up currently. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly. That might have been a little bit of a shill, but it looks like it's sitting around 400. Yeah, there's one on bid for 375. And for a raw card that's in the neighborhood of $30 to $40, this is a really, really, really good play. Gengar's super liquid as well, so that's the number 6 slot. All right, number 5 on this list is Lugia V, the alt art from Silver Tempest. The thing we want to look at when it comes to cards like this, and this isn't always just the quickest turnaround. Now it's worth it, right? It is 400 market price around there. Obviously, you're gonna find plus or minus on a bigger card like this. It's hard to find the exact price when you're talking about multiple hundreds in one single card. But this card has steadily increased. It is neighboring around $1,200 in a 10. This is a little bit bigger of a play, but just to calculate the profit here, just to goes to show you, right? So we're at 1,200. We'll say we sell it on eBay for 1,200. That's that, right? That would be our eBay payout. We subtract our $400 from the raw card, and then we also subtract, we'll just say 100 for grading, shipping, and some taxes. You're gonna make over 500 bucks on this card. It's a really, really good play. Something we want to look at, and not every single one is always worth selling immediately. I actually got one of these in mid-June, and I've kind of just sat on it. Not because I thought it was going to go up like this, just because it's the best card in this set. Silver Tempest is not the best set in the world, but this Lugia here is definitely the best card in the set. So it makes sense that it is going up like in this nature up to 1,200 bucks, and I would guess that it's probably going to sit around that area over 1,000. So that's the number 5 spot. Number 4 on this list is Tyranitar alt art from Battle Styles. Another meh set. This is the best card in the set, obviously. Battle Styles is pretty bad overall. It's been one of the most hated sets for a long time. But this Tyranitar has actually kind of dipped a little bit, and now it's starting to go back up. You haven't really seen the rise yet. It's nearing $300 in a raw card, but in a 10, it is getting up to 800 2 days ago, 750 last week. It's getting up over 700 bucks. So again, it's a very, very solid play, and it's another one where it's just the best card in the set. And you'll find a lot of these sitting around. So that is the number 4 slot. Number 3 on this list is Mewtwo V-Star from Crown Zenith. This card has basically doubled its raw value overnight, and more than close to doubled its PSA 10 value as well. It's now the most expensive card in the set. If you saw my Crown Zenith video, you'll know. It has just exploded. Literally went from like $125 to $200 raw, basically in a week. If we look at the PSA 10 price, it's looking like it's staying around 500, pretty much across the board. I mean, this one seems a little excessive, but I don't know. Maybe it won't stop. Maybe it'll keep increasing. This card is just super popular. I personally think it's the best card in the set. I've thought that for a long time. It was severely, severely underrated for a long while. So the fact that it's getting the credit that it deserves makes sense. So this is the number 3 spot. The number 2 spot on this list is the Victini, Reshiram, and Zekrom, the monochrome cards from Black Bolt and White Flare. These cards are just really new. I think that they're also super rare. We have confirmed that they're really, really hard to pull. So that is definitely a plus for this. So we look at the Victini. It's around 400 market price. Obviously, there's a little bit of difference between the white flare Victini and the black bolt Victini. I'd say it's about the same. I don't think there's really much of a difference there, but I think the black bolt is a little bit more. We look at the Reshiram, it's about $375 near mint. It has dropped down a little bit, but I think it's going to plateau around this area. And the Zekrom, a little bit more expensive, around $400. And then we look at the PSA 10 price. I actually just got a Victini. I sold it for $1,500 on the dot. That's what we're looking at. This is another country, but we have $1,585 on today. Yesterday, $1,550. This was Japanese. And then we have another $1,500. So that's right where it is for Victini. And then we look at Reshiram. It's around $900 to $1,000 bucks. It's been jumping up and down. And then Zekrom is a little bit more. It's about $1,200 to $1,300. So I would say Zekrom is probably a better play. Victini's the best. Zekrom second, and then Reshiram is the third. I think a sequential set in this trio would be really, really cool. But that is the number 2 slot. All right, the number 1 spot on this list is the 151 starters, SIRs. The Blastoise, the Charizard, and the Venusaur. We got a nice little sequential pairing here. I don't know if you can see it very well, but these are all 10s. I've had these for a little bit, but I got these back when they were, $50 for the Blastoise and Venusaur, and maybe $100 for the Charizard. These things, specifically 151, they are going out of print in this fall. So we're getting to the point where we're not seeing 151 out there as much in the wild. So people are going to stop ripping it. This is a super, super, super desirable set for any new collector. And this is one of those ones where a lot of people are going to go after it, which is why we're seeing the prices start to go back up. Right now, you can get the Charizard for about $300 raw, and the Charizard in a 10 goes for about $1,100 to $1,200. Very, 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 very solid play here. I will say that they are a little harder to grade. The quality on 151 is all over the place. So there is a lot of 9s that come out of these sets, but looking at the Blastoise here, you can get it for about $80, and it looks like Blastoise is around $450, $400 to $450, what I would say. I don't know what this is. Anytime you see C description, never buy that. But Blastoise, very solid. Venusaur should be around $400. Yes, it is, and Venusaur is around the same raw price, a little bit, maybe $10 less than Blastoise. But again, very, very sought after cards. This is the number 1 slot. I truly, truly think that if you do grade these, sitting on a copy of each of these to sell later is going to be very, very fruitful. Now, the pops on these ones are super massive. Don't pay attention to that. These are liquid cards. Some of the most sought after that most people want in their collection. So that is the number 1 spot. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed. That's my top 10 grading plays right now. Obviously, there's almost infinite plays to go out there, but these are the ones that I picked for this video. I think that the market is in a little weird spot right now where a lot of stuff is jumping up, and we should take advantage of that, right? You get the raw price now and sit on the 10 later, right? So if you have any questions, as always, drop them in the comments below. Make sure to join my Discord. We're building a really, really solid community there. And without further ado, I will see you guys in the next one.
I'm the MVP. Now I feel like Russell. Feel like John Morant. Need a triple double.